Hey, what's going on, everyone? Henry Kaminski here from the Passionpreneur Inner Circle, and this is video podcast episode 22, and we have a phenomenal guest today on the show. His name is Dom Fawcett from Think, React, Lead, and he is an executive coach and leadership speaker. I've known Dom now for almost a year and a half, and he has been doing some amazing things with his brand and his business, and it's just a pleasure to have you on the show today, my man.
Likewise. Thanks for the invite, my man. I appreciate that.
No problem. So today we're going to talk about, because this has been coming up quite a bit, not only with all of my clients, but I've seen it out there in the entrepreneurial world where to fail fast, fail forward. Don't be afraid to fail. And I see a lot of entrepreneurs taking action on that, right? So they're getting out there and they're making mistakes, they're falling down, they're tripping up, and some of them get up and move forward, but 90% of them don't. And so the topic of today is, it's not about the failure, right? It's about what you do after you fail, or how you react to that failure, which will determine your future success or future failure. So as a leadership coach and executive coach and speaker, like, talk to us about some of the clients that you've worked with that have failed in the past, button up and moved forward and continued on their success path. And then talk to us about some of the people that didn't and what happened to them.
You know, there's no better way to discuss this without first talking about myself, right? So life experiences is what causes us to do the things that we do. And in the leadership community, understanding that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less, there is this mindset of fail forward. But what I have found with the academia is that every time you fail, you have to analyze, and you have to create a white paper, and you have to spend some time going over what you did and what you could have done wrong. And 6 years later, more likely, you still haven't moved. What I do, and this is just off my life experience. Growing up, my father used to always tell me, don't tell me what you can't do, tell me what you can do. All right, cool. It makes sense. I was a kid. But what really drove it home was when I was a cop. Intel gives me information saying, yeah, there's 2 potential suspects, drug dealers in the house, couple guns. We're not 100% sure. All right, cool. I wasn't wrapped too tight then, so I would always take lead. Well, when you kick in the door and there's not 2 people in there, there's like 5 people in there. You don't have the option to say, hey, guys, you know what? Sorry, I got the wrong intel. I'm going to come back with a little bit larger weapon and a couple more guys so we can effectively engage this operation, right? That's not the time for that conversation. So the fail forward is like in that moment. Oh, crap, suck it up. One of 2 things can happen. I can die, or I can let the killers that are looking at me see more of a killer in me than I see in them. Yeah. Now I'm the beast on the safari with the biggest mane and the most experience. I didn't look surprised. I looked as though I expected this. So bringing that back to business, the fail forward thing, I don't really buy into that. I'm more of a fail engaged. And you fail in the moment, you go with your gut. So many people nowadays, especially educated people, and I'm not knocking education, I think it's freaking awesome, but they forget about their intuition. They don't go with their gut. They don't go with their first instinct. What they end up doing is going back to the drawing board. Then while they're at the drawing board, they Google all this other crap. And when I say Google, I'm using it as like a metaphor, not an action. So they Google their friends, they Google their family. Basically, they're asking for permission because failing sucks, right? But when you kick in a door metaphorically, or an analogy, if you will, and there's more people there, there's more guns there than you were prepared for, you got to go with your gut. Go with your training, right? You go with your gut, you engage. You don't have time to ask questions. And when you operate off of intuition, you get the best results. This is the way I think. There's only one of you. So you, anybody listening to this, there's only one of you. There's only one of you with your life experience, with your height, your weight, your eye color, your skill set, your heartbeat, your thumbprint. So no matter what you believe in from a higher power standpoint, we all have intuition. So when you operate off of your intuition, you begin to go down this path that widens your frame and your scope and allows you to do things that nobody else in this world can do. On the contrary, when you start Googling, literally, and start asking your friends are giving you information on successes they've done or read up on. So now you're competing with 10, 20, thousands of people. When you Google information, you're now competing with thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And then you wonder why you can't get success overnight. Really what it is, success overnight is nothing more than success over fright. And that's Don Fawcett coined phrase. But it's success over fright. I use this analogy with my clients all the time because I guarantee you I'm the only executive coach out there that's kicked in the door to drug dealers, like serve warrants, hands down. So with that mindset, you don't have to be a cop or have to be a special forces operator to operate on that mindset. It's think, react, lead. Think as an executive, react like a freaking soldier, and lead. So leadership being influence, who are you influencing? Influencing is not the warm and fuzzies. Influencing is getting everybody's freaking attention in your audience, getting them to follow you based off a skill set that you bring to the table. And that's a little bit of a long answer, but.
I love your passion, bro. I love your energy. Like on the cloudiest day, on the cloudiest day, you can have me up and at 'em. I love it. I love it. I love it. So going a little bit deeper into, I love the flight or fright concept. But first of all, I've never heard of that before. And I love it because it's very profound, one, but two, I think it hits exactly on social media, on Instagram. You know how I ask tons of questions on my Instagram specifically, right? And I said, what is the biggest fear of an entrepreneur? And it was failure. They're scared to fail. And it was crazy because I was just at an event in Dallas, Texas, not too long ago. And there was this husband and wife on stage, and they were talking about how they had not a pot to and now they just hit the $1 million mark per month. And it's pretty amazing. And he said he went through the process of what they went through, really. And at the end of the presentation, he said, do it afraid. Just do it afraid. Because when you do it afraid, the next time you go to do it, it won't be so scary. And I wrote about that in an email today, and it was very and I actually referenced you because in the Passionpreneur Inner Circle group, you had posted a question, 6 months, or no, just say 6 weeks or 6 months to six figures, ? And I thought that was so powerful. And basically your thought process was, and your point was, get help when you need to get help.
Right.
Like get that, get ahead, get to where you want to be faster. Since 2017, like the resources are out there. I mean, there's too many resources out there, right? So it's like, which one do you pick? Which one do you go with? And so getting past the failure, now you've passed failure, right? And now you set the bar at another level.
Right.
Now what?
So personally, I don't ever think we pass failure. If we've passed failure, we stayed in our comfort zone. When you pass failure, like you stopped, right? So we overthink the things. Go back to when you were a kid. Remember when your parents were gone and you jumped off the roof into the pool, right? And then after you jumped off the roof in the pool, your buddy was like, "Hey, let's jump in my dad's car and let's go book it down the road." Like, you don't think anything of it. Then after that, let's go build a ramp with our dirt bikes and let's go jump the ramp higher and see how far we can go. Right? That's in one day. Like, in one day, you jumped off a roof into a pool, exceeded the speed limit without a driver's license, or your parents don't know about the car, and you had a personal record best with your motorcycle jump. Imagine doing that in your business.
Yeah.
Like, when I tell people I went from $15 an hour in the corporate world to 6 figures in less than 18 months with no degree, like, how? I told myself what I can do, not what I can't do. Are we thinking outside of the box? I know how important personal branding is on other people's psychology. So when I found out that I go to college and I get money, okay, I'm going to go to college for the check. I got the check. I bought 3 suits. I bought a book on how to interview. I got a coach, and I went and interviewed, and I landed a job with no experience. But it's confidence, right? Confidence is key. But what happens with most people, right? All of my clients are educated. With the academia, right? All the way through their bachelor's or master's program. You have a syllabus. What tells you you're successful? A test. I got an A, I got a B, I'm successful. You jump into the world. The first 5 years into business or into a corporation, you're typically the newest thing on the table, so everybody wants you around. Now, by this time, you're about 30, 33, 34, you're old hat. And you're trying to develop growth based off something you did 10 years ago. Hello, you're antiquated. And you haven't been stretched since a decade ago, and you call analyzing or building white papers or spreadsheets or PowerPoints for approval, you call that success, and that's no different. I'm grinding, I'm hustling. No, you're not. You're just an idiot because you haven't grown. You haven't been afraid to do anything since you jumped off the roof. So fear is what causes you to grow, right? How many times have we done our best? The best hero stories start off with getting past a fear and jumping into another one, right? Seeing what you're made of, right? So even if you get $1 million, like for me, my target was low. I said 6 figures. Then I realized 6 figures doesn't get you crap, right? But when you grow up on Section 8, like it sounds good. But okay, so now what do I do? Empty out my bank account to grow another portion of my business. Because even if I have $0, guess what? I have a supportive wife. I've eaten peanut butter and syrup sandwiches before. Like, it's not going to kill me to do it again, right? I'm not afraid of that. But when people say I'm afraid, they don't even know what they're afraid of. They're afraid of non-tangibles. Okay, you lose your Ducati. You lose your Ferrari. Uber, you got a bus. You're breathing. I'd rather be afraid and fail and maintain happiness in my heart, because as long as I'm freaking moving forward, like, nothing can stop me. I'll kick in your door. You're going to run out the back door. I'm going to freaking catch you before you hop your fence. Like, that's fear, not knowing what's on the other side of the door. So why do people say, okay, I got to this level, I'm good? They're not good. They're scared to go through what they just went through again.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I just had a question in my head and I lost it. I hate got down. Hold on, it'll come to me. So we were talking about fear, we were talking about perfect. Okay. So now a lot of the times that clients come to me, and I'm sure clients come to you, they have the same sort of issue or challenge, is that, okay, I'm over here's my second problem. I don't have anybody to guide me in the right direction. If I just have that some person, that person to guide me in the right direction, I'm not afraid of anything. Just show me where to go, right? I'm not afraid to get lost. I'd rather not be lost, but like, show me where to go. And so, what's your take on, and this is right up your alley because I mean, you're a coach. So, about the guidance part of, getting past the failure or getting through the failure or working through the failure as a guide. Like, how do you guide your clients through this?
So the way I guide them, first we have to start with unlearning. Everything that they've done up until getting hired by hiring me has been on their own skill set, mindset, life experience, right? So we have to start with removing a lot of that. And most people operate off of doubt, or that they don't operate off of doubt. So they come to me with all these doubts. That's human nature. We have to remove that. So we talk about, and I don't write it, I get them to write it down. What are your doubts? Okay, non-tangible. And I just disintegrate any of their doubts. They're like, wow, I guess you're right. So now we're able to unlearn our life experiences, right? Now we can start with a fresh foundation. It's like a team, a sniper and a scout, right? A sniper gets all the glory. They're the sniper. They pull the trigger, they engage the target, red mist out the back of the target's head. I'm the scout, right? I sit there, I tell them the wind corrections, right, that they need to make on their own gun, right? Because I'm literally sitting next to them or behind them, and I see a larger scope or range than they see. They don't need to see this scope or range. They only need to focus on where it is that they're going. So if they come to me with the focus like this, I narrow it down by disintegrating their or unlearning their past mindset, recreating a different foundation, narrowing in on their target, and I'm explaining, okay, there's a strong wind coming from the east. You need to change a couple clicks or dope your scope. And that change could be you come to me with your business, but your issue is your business partner. Your business partner's cheating on his wife. You don't trust your business partner. So now every time you go into the office, there's lack of trust, or you're cheating on your wife. Like, there's some integrity issues there. Like, how is that you operate off of a lie that bleeds into your business? You're uncomfortable with being overweight. Who cares? Like, you're not the guy you were when you were 28, 32 years of age. Who cares? You're the only person in your circle who's doing as good as you are. That's a problem. We need to dope your scope and fix that. We have to adjust your environment. So that's how we're able to get down the range.
So it's unlearning your past behaviors or the things that so basically it's these false beliefs, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. I was reading this new book, and in the book it basically said, like, beliefs are actually not real. Like, two people can have the same sort of experience, same exact identical experience, but believe completely different things. And so by unlearning, you're saying by unlearning, you're cracking those beliefs, those stories in your head, in other words,
like
that has held you back for all these years.
And you don't even realize they're holding you back. It's literally, you unlearn, you become this new person, because I spent a lot of money on being a coach, on training and developing myself, but I've also had 3 different careers in my life. So everything that I do, it allows me to pull from different areas, but that's because I take a lot of risks, right? And I apply everything I've done to just the 10 to 20% my clients need to be successful. My clients come to me. I have a guy right now, 7-figure corporate earner. He hates what he does, but he's hated it for the last 10 years. His fear is like, what happens when I leave? I mean, what happens when you don't leave? Like, that's your intuition telling you to freaking move forward. So let's create a game plan, right? The unlearning, which typically is about 30 years, getting rid of that, it's operating off of a new mindset. And I don't want to minimalize this idea, but it's literally like watching David Banner be David Banner, unlearning, and then turning into an Incredible Hulk.
Mm.
Right? Incredible Hulk, he's a beast, but everything he does is for someone else. Every foot forward is to help and save someone else, is to make his current environment a better place. But he can only do that when he's operating at his fullest potential. And how does he get to his fullest potential? David Banner gets lit on fire. He gets frustrated. He's upset. He's like, I can't take it anymore. So and as an ex-cadre or drill instructor, I've learned how to push my clients. And I've learned now that everybody can't handle that. That's cool. There's another coach for you. But I push my clients because my clients come to me at the top of their game, and they haven't been pushed or metaphorically punched in the mouth probably ever. So when they get to me, it hurts, but they appreciate it down the road.
Yep. I remember those. I've had a coach in the past that did exactly this. I remember that day getting off the call going, did that just happen? But I have to tell you, it was the best thing that happened to me because, and I'm like that with my clients, and it's the same way. I mean, the truth does hurt. Sometimes it stings, but it's those bee stings that are so profound. It's those bee stings that never, ever are forgotten, right? Riding down the street on my bike, and I was hauling ass, and this bee came darting at my chest, and he stung me dead in the chest, and I just went like this because I saw him coming, and I just drove that stinger into my chest. And I just remembered that was the first day I ever was afraid of bees going forward, because that sting hurt so bad. And so recently I went to one of these not a networking event. It was like a business building event, and we had to do a hot seat. So we get up in front of we get up in front of 50 people, and we basically we present our brand, and then we have 3 questions that we could ask, and then there's a panel of experts, and then there's 50 people in the crowd, right? And they all like with M16 go on your business. And a lot of the insight was great. Some of the insight hurt like hell. And it was the insight that hurt like hell that I came back that week and literally implemented all of that stuff that they told me. And it was like, bam, everything changed. And so having those opportunities and those moments, and what you said was so good. Nobody has spoken to me like that in years. And when I got that, at first I was pissed, and then I was like, no, I get it. I get it. It's just yourself getting slapped in the face, and it was just amazing. It was just a great opportunity. So I know that a lot of people can't handle that. I get it. I've seen it. I've seen clients saying, and then sometimes I go a little bit too much, or sometimes I'm not enough. But I realize when I'm not enough, being polite. I shouldn't say polite. I'm doing them a disservice, right? If they don't see the real problem, if I don't point that out,
right,
they're going to continue to make the same mistakes. Mm-hmm. So we're going to wrap this up. We got about 8 minutes, but this is why I kind of brought it back around full circle. So now, people fail. What do you do with that failure so that you can prevent the same mistake from happening again? What are the steps?
So 2-part answer. 1 metaphor, 1 real world. When you get punched in the mouth, so you box, right? You get punched in the mouth the first time. What do you do to not get punched in the mouth? You train, right? You block, you move. And it's the movement that allows you to be effective at re-engaging what happened originally, which was you getting hurt. But when you get better with training and you start moving more, you no longer act by way of fear, you act by way of skill set. So let me bring that into what we do, right? So fear. I don't want this to happen again. Okay, don't do what you did to make that happen again. For example, how many people fail because of all the free advice they got, right? So instead of failing by way of free advice, they pay for coach, the branding on demand. They pay for an executive coach, right? To get a different way of doing something. And nobody on this earth thinks about one portion of their business. Most people think about 5 to 7 different avenues of their business, and that's on a slow day. But they don't ever try them, right? So they don't try them. Not trying them is like standing in the ring, your opponent is in front of you, and you go like this. And 3, 2, 1, time to fight. You're going to get punched in the mouth again. For example, when I met you, never heard of ClickFunnels. I was Leaders for Leaders. I had one direction. Thousands of dollars later spent on trying different things. I've got Think, React, Lead. I'm preparing to speak in Australia. I'm preparing to speak with Eric Thomas in November. You know, I've paid more for a coach. You know, I have happier marriage because, like, as a man, I'm doing, right? Men don't like winning the race. We like the aggressiveness that and the stripes that we earn during the race. Women don't like a man that wins a race. Women like a man that shows grit, determination, and insatiable effort, that like the underdog that's built during the race, right? The race is your business. Like you got to, and I hate to use bob and weave, but bob and weave has gotten me from getting hit a lot of times. Moving and not being comfortable allows you to be successful in your lane. And I posted in the Passionpreneur Group the other day about Valentino Rossi, who's been riding motorcycles for 30 years. He's 38, but that's all he's done. But Ducati pays him $17 million. His endorsements are $13 million. Races for Yamaha now. But imagine if somebody told you, so break that down, 10 years from now, so it's 30 years, $30 million. 10 years from now, you'll be making $10 million a year. Like, you're going to be busting your hump, or you're going to be scared. But most people like us, passionpreneurs, we're busting our hump. So 10 years from now, because it's going to come regardless. And we're trying everything because there's a guaranteed 10 million. Well, guess what? There is a guaranteed $10 million. And I had to do this for myself. I had to stop telling myself that I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. No, I had been speaking for 10 years, but I didn't really engage into entrepreneurship or being a businessman until 2 years ago. So once I gained clarity on self and was real with myself, I'm like, bro, 2 years? That's 24 months. Like 2 years from now, like a real 10 years, I'm going to be ridiculous. So
and that's a lot of confidence. It's a lot of confidence. It's a lot of, and so basically what I think I'm hearing you say is, when you fail, look back at what exactly may have caused that failure, right? And take action on that. Like when you're saying bob and weave, or when you were saying like move, right? It's me thinking to my head, all right, seeing that punch being landed, and now saying, okay, I don't want to get punched. To avoid that and to move forward into more of a offensive play, right? Am I hearing that right?
You're more relaxed when you do that. When you move offensively, you're more relaxed than defensively, right? And it's that if this happened to me once, all right, I know what I did to get here. Let me go with my gut. Let me use my intuition. Let me try, educated, right? But let me try these different things. And every single client I've ever had said they were going down this path, then they tried these things, and it brought them back to why they originally started, but they became more successful. Like every single person I talk to, because you learn so much when you step out the front door and you come back home and you implement it.
So powerful. So powerful. Yeah, man. Dude, this is awesome stuff. This is awesome stuff. Dom, we're out of time, my friend, but you dropped some serious bombs like you always do. So, my man, one piece of advice that we can give our audience today on failure and moving forward.
Failing is moving forward. I want people to go back to the original part of this conversation. When you kick in your front door of life and there's a lot more stressors in the room than you anticipated, all right, keep on walking. Oh, no fear. But failure is moving forward. Don't confuse complacency with failure.
Aha. There you go. There you have it, my friends. Another episode of the Passionpreneur video podcast is in the books with my man Dom Fawcett, episode number 22. Dom, thank you so much for spending your time, and hope you got some value out of this, guys.
Oh, totally.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Awesome.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Yeah.